Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, welcome back to another Destiny related video. Got lots of stuff to discuss. The Bungie reveal stream was yesterday. It was about all of the PvP changes and weapon balancing issues, if I could speak, and some of the class changes specifically to Warlocks, among some other things that they were talking about changing. So I just wanted to touch on some of those bullet points and discuss on some of the things that they were changing. So let's start with the meaty stuff. So Warlocks specifically were getting some nerfs in PvP and Crucible. For Radiance, or it's not Radiance, it's called Sunsinger. They're nerfing Flame Shield. Stormcaller just in general is getting nerfed. The super. The subclass itself, Bungie said in the stream that they felt like it was very balanced. It was just a super that was very overpowered. I tend to agree. They said that they're going to nerf some of the blinding mechanics of Stormtrance, which is, thank God, because the blinding mechanics were pretty lethal. So I'm happy about that. They're also buffing the energy drain mechanic on Voidwalkers to make them feel, quote, and now I'm quoting, more like vampires. So read into that what you will. With they're basically making lifesteal and energy drain, those effects of the Voidwalker subclass for Warlocks, more powerful, to bring the Voidwalker subclass more kind of onto par with Sunsinger and Stormcaller. Now, me personally, when I roll my Warlock, I love Nova Bomb. I love the Voidwalker subclass. They haven't done anything to Nova Bomb. They said that the super is very balanced. I tend to agree. It's kind of a one-shot. You know, if there's enough people in there, you're going to get multiple kills. Sometimes you're only going to get one person, and if you miss, you're shit out of luck. So I tend to like that they're leaving the super the way it is. For Sunsingers, like I said, they're changing Flame Shield. They are also changing Radiance a little bit. Basically, you're going to get more grenades, and your abilities are going to recharge faster, but Radiance overall is going to last not as long. But something that they did fail, that they mentioned at the end of the stream that they failed to change, was firebolt grenades aren't changing. Now, they said that has less to do with firebolt grenades, because firebolt grenades work the way that they're intended to. The problem comes in when you put the note on there that all of your grenades do burn damage, and then put Viking Funeral on there. That's where the overpowered kind of combo comes in, and I tend to agree that that's mostly the issue, is Viking Funeral. I thought that they would nerf Viking Funeral, or do something with that node and change the subclass in that way to make it something else. And they didn't do anything with that at all. I thought that they might nerf it or reduce the burn damage even. They could have done that, but they didn't. They didn't do anything. They really just kind of let it go, which was, I felt, very strange, a very odd thing for them to do, with how broken firebolts feel in comparison to other grenade types and how underpowered that it feels. Because if you just tag a group of 2 to 3 people, you're basically, gonna get a kill as long as somebody pumps 1 or 2 bullets into each person. It's pretty upsetting, to be fair. But that's all. That was the Warlock subclasses, are the only subclasses that got a change, to my knowledge. They didn't mention any of the other classes at all. They literally just said that Warlocks were the ones getting the changes. They didn't mention Hunters, they didn't do anything with Titans, so just Warlocks with this update are getting nerfed, and I guess Voidwalker is getting a slight buff to be comparable with Sunsinger and Stormcaller. So now we're going to get onto the weapon changes, and this is where stuff gets interesting. So the first thing they started to talk about was all of the weapon changes that are coming to the classes of weapons as a whole. So, for example, hand cannons are getting a slight range and accuracy buff overall, which is good. They said that sniper rifles, this is the big change. Sniper rifles zoom is going to zoom in much further. So basically what that means is when you aim down sights, it's going to zoom you in a lot closer, so it's going to be harder for you to get headshots and to essentially use it as a medium range. They're really trying to push that it's going to be a long range weapon, And they also increase the time it takes in between two shots, so it makes it incredibly hard to two-shot body shot somebody with a sniper rifle and then just get that kill real quick and move about. They're really trying to reward accuracy and trying to reward precision with the sniper rifles, which I understand what they're doing. I'm in favor of it, I guess, overall. But I think that this change, and I want to know what you guys think in the comments below, I think that this change is going to further encourage shotgun use. They didn't say anything really about shotguns. I think they like where shotguns are. I think they're going to leave shotguns the way they are, but I think a lot of people are going to go back to using shotguns and kind of these, quick get in your face with a shotgun mechanic. Also fusion rifles. I think that they're going to do, people are going to start using fusion rifles a lot more because they've also buffed fusion rifles. The coil, when it shoots, is much tighter. And there's much more stability now with the fusion rifles. They were showing some of them off in the footage on the stream, and it looks much better. I think fusion rifles, this is my prediction, I think fusion rifles make a huge comeback in the April update. Now, how long does that last? That remains to be seen. I think fusion rifles, they outrange shotguns, but they're still a close-up and personal weapon that you can get close enough to somebody and do a lot of damage to. They've also talked about specific weapon changes. So, like, for example, a lot of the exotics that they were talking about. So, one of the exotics I'm actually using in this video is the Midas multi-tool. They've said that they're not doing a whole lot to that, which is funny because they talked about in the video how it's by far and away the most used weapon in the game right now. They had a little chart, like a little graph showing how many, like, what weapons people are using in comparison with the Mida, and the Mida is like far and away, it's not even close. But basically, I forgot what they said that they were doing to Mida, but they were slightly nerfing it. I don't think that they're nerfing damage so much. I think that they're nerfing another part of it. And, but yeah, Mida's getting a slight nerf in the update. I don't recall, I didn't write down exactly what the nerf was. I probably should have. But, anyways, yeah, on to Hawkmoon. Hawkmoon's getting a buff. So nobody really uses Hawkmoon because the range is so, like, pitiful now. So they're making the range and the accuracy a lot better. I mean, that's going to be for hand cannons across the board from what I understand. But Hawkmoon specifically is getting a little bit of an extra range buff. But they're trying to keep it so that it's more accurate and has a little bit more range than it currently has right now. But they also don't want it to be like it was towards the end of year one, where you were sniping people with a Hawkmoon. So it's a very delicate thing. They said they're patching it to be increased slightly. They also talked about Dreg's Pride or Dreg's Promise, whatever that exotic sidearm is from the House of Wolves expansion from back in the day. So that gun is getting tracking, which is super interesting. So if you never had it or never got it out of House of Wolves, basically it's a 3-shot sidearm, like a burst sidearm, and now it's going to have like tracking instead of or with the bouncy thing, because I think it bounces off walls also, similarly to Hardlight in that respect. But it's going to have tracking, which is nuts. They showed that off in the video a little bit. That looks pretty cool. It's not super... It's tracking, definitely, to a degree, but it doesn't... Like, watching the video, it doesn't feel like anything that's super overpowered or anything like that. It looks like it's right where it needs to be, which is good. It'll make that sidearm a little bit more useful. They're also bringing back the Queensbreaker's bow and the Lord of Wolves shotgun, which makes sense because this is a more of a Prison of Elders type themed content update. So it makes sense that the Prison of Elders weapons that we got as rewards out of there would be upgraded and brought forward to year 2 as well. Yeah, but some other notes I made: Quillam's Terminus and the Harrowed Quillam's Terminus from the King's Fall raid. Both of those weapons are getting a slight nerf. So basically they're getting an ammo nerf, so people don't have as much ammo to... The weapon itself is going to be fine, it's going to stay the same. But they basically changed it so that you have less ammo to really kind of control the map. The issue that people were having, which I tend to agree with, is that people were getting killed maybe like 2-3 times by the same weapon just because they were spawning in too quickly, which is super frustrating. I understand why they changed that. That's a good change. I kind of agree with. Thorn's getting nerfed again, thank God. It's not getting brought forward to year 2. It is still going to be a year 1 weapon. It's only going to have 170 attack value. But Thorn, the headshot damage is still the same, but the dot is really what's changed here. So basically it does 1 damage less per second per stack. It still stacks 3 times, but it only does 2 damage per stack instead of the traditional 3. And the poison effect, where the dot triggers, is going to last a lot less. The duration is going to be a lot less. So it's not going to persist as long, and it's also not going to do as much damage. Also, the poison effect, when you get hit by the thorn, it's not going to flash like that green on your screen, where it basically feels like you got hit by like a green flashbang. They've also said that they're severely nerfing that as well, so that's a welcome change also. Auto rifle changes to bullet hoses and the slower firing auto rifles. So bullet hose auto rifles are getting nerfed. The damage is slightly coming down. And the slower firing auto rifles are getting a slight damage buff. So basically they're trying to close the gap between that and try to make slower firing auto rifles more relevant. Suros Regime is getting specifically buffed. Both the spinning up perk and the slower firing or the zoomed in perk, both of those are getting fixed, which is super cool. It's going to make Suros relevant again, I think. I already talked about fusion rifles. And also special ammo changes. So the special ammo changes coming to 3v3. Now, all play types are going to spawn with special ammo, always. They've changed it, people were getting around it with Icebreaker, with sidearms, and basically just what Bungie wanted to happen just wasn't working. So they've gotten rid of the no special ammo thing entirely, which is a little bit more beneficial. So basically now what's going to happen is everybody's going to spawn with special ammo, but special ammo is going to be a much more limited resource. So you're going to have to try to find it more often. It spawns 3 minutes after the match starts, and then 2 minutes every time after that. So it's going to be a much more limited resource. People are going to be fighting over special ammo a lot more. You're not going to be able to be as reckless with your special ammo, or else you're basically going to screw yourself over, and you're not going to have enough special ammo throughout the match. Also, this is going to create kind of choke points where people are going to be fighting over special ammo, so that's interesting. And heavy ammo is only going to drop 1 time in every Crucible mode for the foreseeable future. That's it. Just once. It drops at the 5-minute mark, they said, and that's going to be it. Now, this change I have a love-hate relationship with, because if your team's getting steamrolled by another team with heavy, you're like, thank God, that's it. There's no more heavy. But on the other side, if you get heavy, and maybe the opponent does, or you get both heavies, you never get heavy again, and you kind of lose that control that you have with the heavy ammo, and maybe gives the opponent a chance to get back, which I guess ultimately is going to be the goal of this, just to try to create balance and make it a little bit easier for people to make comebacks and stuff like that. So the heavy ammo thing I don't completely hate, but at the same time, like heavy ammo bounties and heavy ammo related quests and things of that nature, they're going to be a lot harder now, because you only, especially let's take for instance the sword quest. You're in there trying to get kills with the sword. You need 25 of them, which is super hard, and basically you got 1 shot to get heavy ammo. Now, granted, for the sword specifically, you can use the hilt to kill people, but that's really hard to do and kind of obnoxious to do. So this is going to kind of limit some things, but I don't know. We'll see how it works. We'll see how it all goes down. But that about covers all the stuff that they covered in the Twitch stream yesterday. So I'm really upset that Warlock Fireball Grenades didn't get nerfed. That's the only thing I'm really super upset about. Heavy ammo is kind of scary, but I kind of like the update. I like the changes. I like where they're going. I like that fusion rifles are going to be coming back. So excited about that. I have a Plan C sitting in my vault that I'm probably going to go upgrade today, maybe, when I play for a little bit later. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about fusion rifles. Auto rifles getting balanced a little bit. The Doctrine not being as strong, I'm super happy about. Thorn getting nerfed again, I'm happy about. Also, the Last Word got nerfed a little bit as well. But I think that was a damage damage nerf overall. Just a slight damage nerf, so you couldn't two-shot people with it. I think that's what the nerf was. So that's going to do it, guys. What do you think? I want to know what you guys think about these changes that are coming to the Crucible. Coming to PvP, coming to these weapons. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you like, what you hate. Tell me everything. Comment down below and tell me all of the things. I'm super excited. It comes out Tuesday. The time of this recording is Thursday. So I'm super pumped for it. Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, that's going to wrap up this video. Please like it, share it with your friends so I can find out what they think. And subscribe to the channel for more Destiny content, man. My name is Enzo. You are YouTube, and as always, stay classy, Internet.
Iron Banner control. Alpha Team. No holding back. Your enemies won't